Hello, this is Intuitive Anna Priscilla. After my review and unboxing of the Siren Song decks yesterday, I thought it would be interesting to do a little follow-up video and talk about the Kipper cards. A lot of people are familiar with Lenormand cards, but not so many with the Kipper cards. And since this set has both, I thought it might be interesting to compare the two and also give you a little bit more background about Kipper. So Kipper and Lenormand were both developed in Germany about 100 years apart. Lenormand was derived from a game called the Game of Hope, which was kind of like a chutes and ladders game where you went through different stages, rolled a dice, and moved along the board. And then the last card being the cross. So it was turned into cards and marketed under Madame Lenormand's name, who was a famous French fortune teller. The thing about the Game of Hope or Lenormand cards is that they're symbolic. They have a house, or they have a ship, or they have a crossroads, and they also have playing card inserts because they also were marketed in such a way that people could play cards with them as well as doing their little divination. There was a little divination leaflet that came with the cards. So it was marketed as kind of a fun game, divination. There were just three people, significators. There's a man and a woman and a child. So nothing particularly complex about human relationships. So the Lenormand often just records things that are happening in the outside world, situations that the querent might be in. Now, the Kipper cards were developed in about 1870 to 1890 in Bavaria. It was at the end of the Franco-Prussian War, so they didn't want anything to do with anything French. It was also a Catholic society. So tarot cards weren't particularly looked well upon. So these cards were developed as fortune-telling cards. They really represent the society at the time, but they also echo universal themes of all people. And you'll see they pretty much cover relationships in life, our situation, our environment, the things we go through in our journey through life. So they're more internal or psychologically based. They're really good for figuring out the internal dynamics of a situation. They have no playing card inserts. So what I've done is divide the Kipper cards up into little groups to show you the structure of it. So it's an interesting structure. So as I mentioned, there are more humans in the Kipper deck. So this is the Kipper deck, and we have the male, who's called Siren, then the female, and then I've also put the traditional Kipper cards. These are the ones that I learned on. These are in German. I learned from Tony with these cards, and you can see that the directions on the new cards echo exactly the directions on the old cards. So these are the main protagonists. So if you're a man, you would choose this card to represent yourself. And your partner, whether it was another man or a woman, would be the woman card. There weren't multiple significators, although now the new decks do have that. So those were the main protagonists. And then this deck also has a lot of other people or relationships. So we have the child, which we have in Lenormand. And here is the traditional child, kind of a weird card. But then we have the older generation, which is the good gent and the good lady. So these would be the grandparents or the parents, depending on the age of the significator. So if the grandparents or parents were still alive, you would use these for older people in the deck. And these are the two old traditional cards. And then we also have the younger generation. So we have the rich girl and the rich gent. So these are younger, up-and-coming millennials, probably. So these could be the children of the significators if they're, middle-aged. So these would be younger people, dynamic younger people. And here we have them. So we have all the generations. We have the older generation, the middle generation, the younger generation, and children. But we also have other relationships with people. So we have kind of more negative interactions we might have with people. So there's a thief. There could be a thief in your midst. You may have a relationship that turns into one where somebody's thieving from you or taking your assets. And here we have the thief. Then there's also the false person. You may think you have a relationship with somebody, but they're just looking after themselves. So this is another relationship card. So you have the familiar relationships, but then you have some of these society relationships. Then you have the military man. This would be someone who's in a position of authority or wears a uniform. Could be a doctor, a dentist, a lawyer. So these are professional relationships you have. Somebody who's very organized, who is, very professional in their relationship with you. Also could be somebody who looks after you and takes care of you, protects you. And then we have what's called the mediator. This was the court official. So this is someone that you'd have to deal with in case of law or situations where you're having problems with other people. So these are another set of relationships that, of course, we don't have in the tarot. And the next group is about our communication, how we communicate with people. So here we have the letter. Now, in the old days, of course, it would be a letter, but now this could be an internet, text messaging, any way that we communicate, telephone. Of course, before it would be a letter. And then our interactions, our relationships where we're connected with other people in a positive way. We have marriage. And here in this modern deck, we have 3 different forms of marriage. We have 2 women, 2 men, and then a heterosexual couple. So this is describing the relationship between 2 people in a loving way instead of a treacherous way. And then we have... this would be the old card of marriage. Here he's proposing to her. They're all very coy. Then we have, this is called get together. This was also called convene. So this is maybe a social relationship where you get together with friends. This looks a little bit more friendly on the old card, but generally it's taken to mean kind of a society group of friends getting together, not as intimate as the marriage card. And then we have the gift. So, of course, a relationship of giving and taking. So these are positive relationships, not the thief or the jealous or the false relationship. Then we have cards of change. No, these are cards of the environment, sorry. So our relationships take place in an environment. So here we have, the new card is called the parlor. This would be like your living room, your inner circle. This is your private space in the house. So this would be your bedroom, any place where public is not, your private little home, a room in your home. Then we have the house, so this would be your home where you live. Could be the city or the environment that you live in where you feel you belong. So the house is a little bit bigger than the room or the living room. So the living room would be in your house. The house would be a building where you live. It could be an apartment you rent, just your living space. Could be an office as well, a smaller area. Then we have the court, which is any kind of legal or official place. Could be a hospital, could be a law court, could be a corporation, some large building where something large goes on. And then we have the prison. It also could be this could be the law courts too, or it could be a hospital, somewhere where professionals would work. And then this is the prison. So this isn't somewhere where we could feel confined. It could be a literal prison, but it could also be somewhere where we're trapped. Maybe we can't move out of our situation, or we feel that we're in a place that is limiting our freedom. So these are different buildings and different environments that we could live in. And then we have cards of change. So you can see this really covers everything in life. It's a little bit much different than the Lenormand. We won't go into the Lenormand because I want you to understand the Kipper today. So this is change. Here you can see this fish is swimming along. They're being pushed along by the current. And here in the old cart, he's got on his cart, and his horses are pulling him. He's leaving town. 2 buildings in these. So this is a big change of environment, maybe moving to another place. That you're leaving the city or the place where you've been living. And then this is an Odyssey. Now this is a little trip. So, well, the cards are a little different because this is quite a trip on a ship. But this could be like a day trip where you're going out into nature, into the woods. So it's the journey rather than a big change of environment. So you're going out for the day, or you're going on a holiday or a trip. You're not changing your house or where you live, which would be the change card. Now this is a card of distance and time. So we have a long road. So this is a long journey. This is a long shot. It said that this card can show something that's going to take up to 2 years. So this is not a short trip or a vacation, or even moving house. This is a long-term journey that you're on in life. And hopefully when you get to the end of it, you'll reach something positive. Now also stopping your journey is brief illness. So if you're ill, you have to stay home and stay in bed. So this can mean illness, literally, but it can also mean taking some time out, taking time to rest. It's also the card of sex because it's the only card that shows a woman in bed. But this is stopping action because of something. And then the last one, of course, is the ultimate ending, the coffin. So that can show you movement. If you get the coffin, you know something's going to stop there. Where if you have the journey or the Odyssey, things are moving forward. So these cards can give you a sense of movement in your life. And then we have cards of mental states. So this is deep thought. This is planning, brooding. This is said to be the card of someone who's maybe lovesick, thinking of somebody, obsessing about somebody, but it's also, you can see the little Cupid at the top. It's also the card of planning and strategizing, using your mind to figure things out. So this is a card of someone who's in deep thought. It could be also a meditation card. So this is action in the mind. And then we have the card of expectation. So this is when you're just waiting for something. You can see in both these cards, this woman's at the window, perhaps waiting for someone to come back to her, waiting for something to happen, watching what's going on outside, but not really joining into it. So this is a card of waiting and watching. So again, not much movement here. Also a card of anticipation. And then with that comes hope. So you're hopefully watching for something. So this is the card of what we all need is hope. Hope that something will come for us. The ship will come in. So the anchor is always a representative of hope, but it's also a representative of being grounded, being safe, being secure. So your expectation is founded on hope. Then we have the emotion of woe. This is sadness. You can see she's had some bad news. So this is mourning, being sad, crying over something. So it's not all positive. This deck also has some negative human emotions that we all go through from time to time. So this is about crying over something. Then we have these cards of murky thoughts. So this is negative thinking. You can't get your mind out of the negative thoughts. Here he is sitting with his hand on his head. He's going over and over and over the same thoughts. It's getting him a headache. So this is also telling you maybe you need to get your head out of this, out of the mud. So this is a situation, or maybe you're really confused by something or somebody. And then this is sorrow. This is big sorrow. This is not just woe and sadness. This is big sorrow. Something has just come and hit you in the face. and you really don't know what to do with it. This is real mourning. So you can see this deck is really extensive as far as relationships and emotions, which of course the Lenormand doesn't come anywhere near. The Lenormand is great for situations. So using a situational spread with an emotional spread could be very powerful when you're working with both of these. So these cards are work cards or aspirations. So of course we all have to work for a living. So here's the original card and the new card. And you know, they're tilling away the garden. It's hard work to create something. So we all have to work at something to create what we want. Could be a job card there. And then we have great fortune. Sometimes fortune smiles on us. You know, we buy a lottery ticket and win $1 billion. So this is when our luck comes in. We've been working really hard, and we get maybe a promotion or a recognition, or just things turn out very well for us. You can see the money in the basket there. Could be money card, but it can also just be good fortune. And then we have unexpected money. So I love this card, the Pirate. It's like all of a sudden fate bestows some luck, something on you. You come across this treasure in the bottom of the sea somewhere. So this is unexpected luck, unexpected turn for the better, something that you really weren't working for but just kind of came upon. And I think he's one of my favorite cards. And then you work hard all your life and you get high honors. So this is promotion. This is starting small. You can see this little house here and raising to the top of the ladder. So working hard, achieving your goals, finally getting the promotion, as we said, but also just moving up in society. And at this time, society and your rank in society was very important. It was all about your rank in society. So if you were a peasant, it was hard to raise yourself to the level of the castle, but with hard work, some people did. So this is a great event or it could be you went off to war and you came back and you've been recognized for something in your life. And then this is the good outcome. So you've got the Doves of Peace, things have turned out well. Also can be a relationship card. You can see the two birds here together, and there's a dog on this one, so it could be a card of friendship. Some of the newer decks have a relationship connotation, so this could be a card of friendship, or maybe a new friend you've made, and this would show you that things are going to work out well between you. And then the last cards are wealth. So this is great wealth. This is money. This is the money and abundance card. So you can see with the Kipper, every single possible situation is covered. Now if we look at the Lenormand, we just have the three main, man, woman, and child. And then we have, for example, the Tower. Well, the Tower can mean achievement. It can mean your job, but it can also mean you're lonely, you're isolated. So Lenormand cards can mean 2 or 3 different things. So that's the difference. Crossroads. You know, you're at a crossroads in your life. You're describing more of your situation. The ship in Lenormand means commerce, it means business, it means travel, because in the old days, of course, they had to use ships to carry The house means similar to the house in Kipper. We have the cross here, which in Lenormand means a burden, something very hard to carry. So Lenormand really uses symbols and makes sentence out of symbols, where Kippers is relationships, and relations are really important, and also directions. So the woman would be the main, say I'm asking a question. Directions are important. So let's say I have the prison in front of me, and let's see what we have. Hope in back of me. Well, the card in back of the way she's facing, she determines the read. The way everything in front of her is auspicious, and then everything behind her is inauspicious. So even though it could be a good card, it would have a more negative meaning. So Kipper's a little bit more complex that way. There are some directional reads in Lenormand, but Kipper is totally dependent on the direction that the protagonist is facing. So for me, prison could be positive. Maybe I want to get away from all the stress I'm having. Maybe I want to find a place where I don't have to deal with the outside world. And negative is maybe that my hope is leading me into the wrong place. Maybe I need to go somewhere and reflect on where I'm going. I need some isolation here. Maybe I'm too bogged down. Maybe that anchor and all of my positive thinking is actually not doing me any good. Maybe I need to look at some cold, hard truths. And then the card above, and this is all related to the grand to below. So the card above would be, say I have my partners above. So what's above me is what's on my mind, what I'm thinking about. So I'm thinking about my man. Maybe I'm feeling really bogged down and restricted, and I really want to go somewhere that I can get away from him. It's not true. I do love my husband. And then underneath, wow, this is my emotions underneath. So this is your mind, your emotions, auspicious or forward, inauspicious or backwards. So maybe I have the cord underneath. Maybe this is a card of divorce for somebody, or maybe that something's happened in the family and somebody got arrested. So you can see there's, and then if you fill it in with other cards, these would all be her thoughts up here. Maybe she's thinking about her husband with another woman. And this woman is a flirt. There you go. And that's what's happening. So she's brooding on that. But underneath, maybe her son or a young man around her is telling her to get rid of the situation. And her emotion is that expectation that perhaps this lawsuit will work it out. And this can also be a financial advisor. So you can see it shows really the dynamics of a situation that's going on. Or if you just have the clouds and the fish, for example. Well, here we have, that's a cat. Let's do the clouds and the fish. So she's turning away from her money, from her abundance. Everything's just come to an excess, and this has created some confusion. So it's not as pointed, and it doesn't also have all these people involved that it would if you just had the Lenormand. But you can combine the two very well. So you could say, okay, the cloud situation is being caused by this woman who's flirting with my husband. She's waiting for him to get divorced so she can steal him. I mean, you can make up a whole story here. So that's how the Kipper works. It's got lots of different groupings for each different situation you might meet in life. Reading it is directional. That's a whole nother video. But I just wanted to show you a little bit about the cards and how they operate. So if you know Lenormand, start learning Kipper because the two will work incredibly well together. Now, when I learned, these cards were the only ones that were available. But after a while, Tony Savory, who actually worked on the Siren Song deck, created her own set of Kipper cards, which are modern. Here she is actually reading the cards, which is kind of fun. But these are more modern cards. So she was the first to really start modernizing it based on the directions in the old cards. So there's different types of cards, connecting cards, all sorts, and these little stop cards, different categories in a read, and I put little dots to tell me that this is a connector card to look at the card before and after. So the whole reading element of it is quite different and a little complex, but now at least you understand what the cards are. And then Tony also has another set of cards which are color-coded for the different groups and are just silhouettes. So these are very modern This is called the Rainbow Kipper, and she actually did this with Stephen Bright. And each color is a code for how the card works and how to read them. So look at all those cards. I've totally confused you, I'm sure. And if you really want to go any deeper in it, I would really recommend you get Tony's book. She's called Tony Savory now. But this just is the encyclopedia. This goes into everything, all the different spreads, everything you could possibly want to know about Kipper cards. So thanks for listening. So now I hope you can enjoy your siren song kit a little bit better. Gives you more idea about Kipper. And of course the book is great. Just read the section on Kipper. It explains everything. It explains groupings, what certain cards mean when they're with other cards or their position. And a lot of these positional meanings are derived from the Grand Tableau, which is when you have all 36 cards laid out. And that is the traditional way of reading both Lenormand and Kipper. But that's for another lesson. So just take your cards out, look at them, try to put them in the groupings, try to understand what they're telling you, and then compare them with the Lenormand cards and try to make stories out of each. So thank you for listening. Enjoy your Kipper and your Lenormand cards. And if you like my videos, please like and subscribe, and I will be back again soon.